This is Selina Wang reporting for the Harvard Political Review at Femme Fest. This is the kickoff event for Women's Week, which celebrates women's art and performance.
Within the dark, deep recesses of your feminine mind lies an unbreakable woman.
Femme Fest opened with spoken word performances that explored women's issues ranging from body image to sexuality. This form of artistry embodies the mission of Women's Week to encourage dialogue about prevailing gender issues.
And the hardest part about being a woman at Harvard is the moments when I realize that I am a woman at Harvard and that something is stopping me. And unfortunately, that's happened to me at Harvard more than I would have liked. And so, being a part of Women's Week, being a part of the Seneca is really, I think I'd like to help so that women of the future never have to stop and think I'm a woman at Harvard.
I think the hardest part of being a woman at Harvard is one of the hardest parts of just being a woman in general is just having those moments when people take you down that one peg for just your gender. And I think it's something even day to day you experience how people tell you about things or how people react to you, and you just have that moment and you're you're just doing this because of my gender. And I think just having one thing singled out about you is always difficult, if it's your gender, if it's your race, if it's your sexuality, if it's just how you're acting. So I think that's what's the hardest part.
So I do astrophysics and physics. A lot of my classes now, I'm either the only girl or one of the few girls, and I don't know if it's so much institutional or something about me, but I've noticed in my day-to-day life that kind of affects how I view myself in those classes and to a certain extent my performance. But in general, I feel like Harvard's a really welcoming place, and in the fact that people really want me to succeed and do well here as a woman, especially in the sciences.
Co-sponsored by the Harvard College Women's Center and the Seneca Inc., Women's Week aims to raise awareness of women's issues. However, attendants say that men should pay special attention during this week as well.
I think coming out to things like this are great for exposure. I think most important is just their day-to-day interactions with the women in their lives. I think that's the biggest thing that adds up, that people don't realize, the words they use, the actions they make, really informing themselves.
Female students were not allowed into Harvard classes until 1943, and it was not until 1999 that Radcliffe College and Harvard University merged. Though Women's Week is one step towards greater gender awareness, there is still a long way to go.
I think it's a time of change, and I think it's a time where people are really trying to have a lot more conversation about the roles of women and how we're sort of able to bridge more gaps.
I think there are a lot of ways that this university is skewed towards men, it's particularly white, heterosexual, cisgender men. And I can definitely see that in certain classes, including STEM especially, where women might not be given the benefit of the doubt in the same ways that a man might. So.
From spoken word to cultural performances, the kickoff of Women's Week was full of diverse events. In light of Harvard's recent history of gender exclusion, Women's Week has become a very prominent event on campus.